I love the smell of commerce in the morning.
What's the difference between a workaholic and someone who works hard?
A workaholic is someone who does it compulsively, who can't not work, who feels very uncomfortable at any point where they're not, and who has difficulty, relaxing, and it affects the parts of their lives that aren't about work.
What if our survey found that 87% of people put more energy into work than their personal lives?
Let me know when your whole life goes up in smoke. When is this time for a promotion?
It's Wednesday. Everybody works on Wednesday, okay? Can I borrow your...
What would you do if you had $1 million? If you are anything like my personal hero Peter Gibbons, you would choose to do nothing at all. You would sleep in, go fishing, and watch kung fu movies all day. This attitude is apparently less popular than you might imagine, with new studies finding that most high-income earners are choosing to stay in their jobs well after they have made enough money to fund their desired retirement. But why? In a time when most American workers can't even reasonably hope to retire, why would people with the option to live a life their peers could only dream of choose not to?
This is America. Pick a job and then become the person that does it.
You all know that I hate dragging out the answer to a question just for the sake of watch time. So the simple truth is that people are both addicted to their work and feel as if they can't leave.
And I could work here for years. Years.
Why they feel this way is still a bit of a mystery, but looking at some of the leading theories tells us a concerning story about how modern careers are making even the most secure workers feel very uneasy about their futures. So it's time to learn how money works, which was sponsored this week by Aura. Our lives in the modern world are lived through online accounts. If someone got access to your email just for a few hours, they could access your bank details, personal files, business accounts, and the contact information for all your friends and family. By the time this happens, it's already too late. From first-hand experience working in banking, I can tell you that victims of this type of breach can still have difficulties doing things as simple as opening a credit card years after the breach occurred. You probably already know the importance of having multiple strong passwords, using a VPN, installing a robust antivirus system, and updating all these measures regularly. But who honestly does all of that? I have a hard time remembering my emails, let alone dozens of new passwords every month. I thought this was good enough until I started using Aura's monitoring system to find out how many times my online accounts had been compromised on the dark web. Mine had been compromised 7 times. I encourage you to do the same by trying out Aura for yourself and getting all the systems you know you really should have, all with one convenient service. Protect yourself from America's fastest growing crime and get a free 14-day trial when you sign up at aura.com/howmoneyworks. The first and simplest reason high-income American workers are stuck in their jobs is simply because they are no more financially secure than people on lower incomes.
Why is it so hard to just enjoy things?
A joint report by industry publication Payments.com and Lending Club found that more than a third of households earning over $250,000 per year dedicate nearly all of their income to household expenses and would not be able to cover basic necessities if they had skipped just one paycheck. The report found that 55% of millennials in these high-income jobs were struggling mainly because they were focused in high-cost-of-living areas, but even older high-income earners were not immune from spending their money as quickly as it came in. If you can't afford to quit your job, you can't quit your job. Simple as that.
I love my job. I love my job. I love my job.
You are watching a business and finance channel on YouTube, a website where you could literally be watching anything else, so I probably don't need to tell you how bad of a situation living paycheck to paycheck can be. Beyond the financial insecurity that comes with not being able to cover surprise expenses, it can also seriously hamper your career progress. High-income earners earn their high incomes because they have a rare set of skills that businesses are willing to pay a lot of money for. Sometimes these skills can be so in demand that businesses are willing to compete against one another for each other's employees. If a high-income earner living paycheck to paycheck gets offered an even better job that requires downtime between leaving and their existing job, they may end up needing to turn it down, or at the very least, take on debt, further cementing their dependence on their job. There is a great clip in the movie Margin Call, where a trading floor manager reveals how he spends his $2.5 million salary.
Will, did you really make $2.5 million last year? Sure.
How did you spend it all?
That was quite quickly.
You learn to spend what you have in your pocket. I have personally worked with VPs and MDs that have earned this kind of money, that this scene was not a work of fiction. Even people that you would expect to be really good with money, seeing as how it's their entire career, can spend it on the stupidest shit. Alright, maybe I've been a bit unfair so far. People living paycheck to paycheck are not really addicted to work any more than they're addicted to breathing. They do it because they just need to.
I've had some experience with this. They look like they could fly. And it's not about the paycheck, it's about respect. It's about looking in the mirror and knowing that you've done something valuable with your day.
And yes, all of these high-income earners who are broke could make some changes to put themselves in a much better financial position. But they are adults, and how they live their life is up to them. If anything, they are addicted to spending, not to working.
Of all the drugs under God's blue heaven, there is one that is my absolute favorite.
And I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about this.
The people who are addicted to their jobs fall into one of three categories. The first are people that just love what they do. They work in a field that they find very interesting and are normally surrounded by like-minded people. The engineers on a Formula One team are paid very well, but I am sure that there are some of them there that would do it for free, just because of how exciting they find the lifestyle that comes with working in this kind of environment. Good for these guys if they can find jobs like this, and not turn it into something they end up hating. Watch my video on why you actually want a really boring job to see what I mean. The second type of person who is addicted to their job normally does not enjoy it nearly as much as the first person. These are the people who have worked and studied hard their entire life to get themselves a prestigious position in their chosen field.
Life is this. I like this.
These are your doctors, lawyers, engineers, and senior management types. These people have sacrificed so much to get to where they are that their career has become their life. Their only friends are their colleagues, they don't see their family as often as they should, and they certainly don't have time for regular hobbies. The only place in life that they have in order is their career, and the only place they ever get positive feedback is at work. For some people, their work is their entire identity, and simultaneously, the most interesting thing about them. You can be a remarkably boring person, but people will still give you a lot of respect if you tell them you are a doctor or a C-suite executive at a big company. Humans are ultimately praise-driven beings. If you are seen as a big swinging dick at work, everybody praises your efforts, gives you respect, and lets you guide projects. It can be very hard to give that up just to go back and mend the other parts of your life that you have neglected to focus on your career. The saddest part of this is that these people might hate what they do, but they do it anyways because it's much easier to justify a very unhealthy lifestyle if you are making lots of money. The third type of person addicted to their work might also not really enjoy what they do, but they won't have necessarily neglected the other parts of their life. They are instead addicted to their work because the companies they work for have intentionally set them up to be. Golden handcuffs is a phrase that is all too familiar amongst high-income earners in corporate America. Top talent is quite rare and hard to find. It is also expensive. Most senior executives and advanced specialists are not performing at their best for 6 to 12 months after starting with a new company. It takes time to learn new systems, new names, new projects, and a new culture. This is a problem because most people at the top of their careers will know that long-term it is financially much more rewarding to change jobs every 2 years. Companies do not want to pay people like this for 12 months of training just for them to jump ship as soon as they get a better offer, so they set up incentives for them to stay. This mostly comes in the form of deferred payments or bonuses that are only received for work done some number of months in the past. A high-income earner will always get their base salary, but bonuses in certain roles can be as much as 4 times that base pay. A great deal for you if you can land this type of job and perform well in it. The only catch is that these bonuses are paid out to you at some point in the future. If you quit before that time, you get nothing. Of course, the sinister part of this is that by the time you have worked long enough to get your bonus from your first year on the job, you will have 2 more years of bonuses in the pipeline that you will be eligible for in another 2 years' time. It is very easy to get stuck on an endless career treadmill, chasing a carrot that is always a few months away. Companies have other tricks to keep their top employees around, and this can often lead to people working in jobs that they hate.
Working jobs we hate, so we can buy shit we don't need.
even if they don't need to, just because they would feel silly quitting now and leaving a bunch of money on the table. People in certain finance communities call this 1 more year syndrome, as in, 1 more year I will get that big bonus. 1 more year and I will be able to afford a vacation home in retirement. 1 more year and I can fly business class on all of my retirement vacations. 1 more year and I will have a bit more financial security in retirement. There will always be reason to work just 1 more year, even for those people that do not really need the money to support themselves anymore. 1 more year quickly becomes a decade that could have been spent enjoying the lifestyle that they have worked so hard to achieve. The golden handcuffs can sometimes be self-inflicted as well.
How do they feel? Tremendous.
A lot of very highly paid jobs are extremely specialized. There are only a few dozen engineers in the world that can oversee deep-sea oil drilling projects, and their work depends on them constantly keeping up to date with the latest drilling techniques and industry standards. These people are paid extremely well, but if they ever quit, their skills will quickly become obsolete, and they will find it almost impossible to secure a role like they had before. For people like this, there is no trial run at retirement. There is no taking a year off to relax or try out a new business. They need to be committed to their career until the day that they step away. Money can solve a lot of problems, but unfortunately for many, it can't solve the problems of being stuck in a job that you hate. Although, maybe they should feel lucky that their companies value them enough to literally trap them into their jobs, because for everybody else, companies have stopped caring about how long they stick around. Go and watch my other video to find out how staff loyalty, something that companies use to prize, has quickly become something that they hate, and how you can use this to your advantage in your own career. A special thanks again to Aura for sponsoring this video and making it possible for everybody to keep on learning how money works.
What are you walking with?
40. I'm broke.